What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the Inside D3 show. I'm your host, Morgan Cheatham. Thank you guys for joining us again today. Make sure you guys follow us on our Twitter and our Instagram pages at D3Inside. Follow us on our website at InsideD3.com. We're also on YouTube now, so all of our episodes are going to be on there. You can follow us there on Inside D3 Athletics. And we also have our podcast now, so we're on Anchor, the Anchor app. You can download that and just search the Inside D3 show, and you can find us on there and listen to all of our episodes as they drop. So, without further ado, I want to introduce our guest today. He is Ajani Clunie. He is the Associate Head Women's Soccer Coach at John Jay College of the CUNY Athletic Conference. He's also Coordinator of Media Relations and Operations down there. They just won their first CUNY Athletic Conference Championship last season. They made it to the NCAA Division III Women's Soccer Tournament last year, and they're also projected to be the first seed in the CUNY Athletic Conference coming in the next year. So, how are you doing today, Johnny?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Morgan. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. So, let's get right into the questions. Talk about a little bit of your journey into John Jay College and what you were doing before then, and what made you decide to coach there eventually.
Um, so definitely thank you for having me on the show today. Um, it seems like almost 10 years ago, but it's only been about 6 years since I've been at John Jay. I started in 2014. I had the honor of being one of the first assistants being hired by head coach at the time, Casey Summers, back in 2014. I was working at a youth soccer organization up in the South Bronx called South Bronx United. At the time, I've been with that organization since 2009, 2 years after I got out of college. And within working in that organization, one day the executive director, Andrew So, um, called me into his office and said, "Hey, would you be interested in, coaching college soccer?" And he's like, I never thought about it before. I've been coaching club soccer for about six 6 years up to that point. But I never thought about coaching collegiately at that time. And I said, hey, why not? So funny story, I was working with a youth organization called IYLI, and we were set to go to Senegal that summer and take high school students from New York City, and we go to different countries around the world throughout the African diaspora, and they learn throughout the summer with education, science, math, technology, and so forth. The long story short, 2 days 2 days before I had this interview, I was supposed to go to Senegal. So I met Casey um, one day at a Starbucks. Had an interview there. I told her I was interested, so we chopped it up and we talked about it. She's learned a little bit about my background, my history, and coaching and things like that. Um, we hit it off pretty well. Both Liverpool fans, so that was a great connection there. So after I had the interview, she offered me the position. Um, so she's like, enjoy your trip and then come back. But when I came back, we got right back into the start of my first collegiate season of coaching at John Jay. So that's sort of how the story went. So I'm very grateful that I got the opportunity, through South Bronx United and so forth like that, and all the proper channels that led me to being at John Jay to where I am currently right now.
It's awesome. Heck of a story for sure. So I know, we talked about a little bit of, some of the things that you do on campus, but I want you to kind of give us a little, inside story of, some of the roles that you have on campus and, some of the things that you're a part of over there at John Jay.
So currently, I'm the coordinator of media relations and operations. So I work directly close with the associate athletic directors of media and of operations for the college. So basically, I assist the SID, the sports information director. So I'm doing a lot of social media, graphics, recording videos, game day footage with operations when I'm not in season, when I'm not coaching. So with a lot of game day operations, work with facilities. We work with other departments in the college, work with the John Jay College social media department to put on different campaigns and things like that. So anything that you see on our social media content on Instagram or on Twitter, Um, through the college dealing with athletics, I played some part in the hand in that and assisting with that with maybe titling videos, subtitling videos for IGTV and so forth. Championship flyers, all star nominations, all star flyers, and creating tickets, newsletters, anything you can imagine dealing with graphic design or work. I played some part in that and helped contribute to that at the school.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I was definitely a part of a little bit of sports information when I was on campus. I was like working part time over there, so I already know it's hectic and there's so much stuff going on. Like every single day, there'll be like 3 games going on. So
Yeah,
I know that you have a lot of stuff you got going on that
yeah,
side.
definitely.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about how important it is to have those roles, especially at D3 universities. You know, how important is it for you to have a lot of hats on campus?
Well, we definitely wear a lot of hats. At John Jay, before I got into my role, and even becoming the associate head coach, I started as administrative assistant in the athletics department. So I started there at the front desk, um, helping other deputy athletic director, Kat Alves. So I work closely with her and our business development manager as well. Um, to deal with receipts within the department, reimbursements, things like that. So a lot of various things being on the side of administration, I've got to see what it takes to run athletics department. It takes a lot of people working hand in hand, close together, us supporting each other, working together as a team, and that's a big difference. Like I say, compared to a lot of D1 or D2 programs and athletic departments, they have numerous people for just maybe specifically for maybe one sport and so forth. But we wear many hats where we help a lot of different student athletes at different times. So people may see my capacity as coach, but then I also work as the PA announcer, men's and women's basketball games and so forth. So
So you're
I've
the
done
voice of John Jay too. Okay,
one of the cases, yeah. So
okay,
John,
okay.
so we definitely wear a lot of hats. But that's just how it is. And, I feel like we're a very close knit family, so forth. And I give it up to everybody in the department because everybody works extremely hard to try and give the student athletes, the best experience and the best college experience that they can have while they're here at John Jay.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So, obviously you being, a minority in Division III athletics as a whole, but specifically being an African American coach, coaching female teams, female identifying teams. Just kind of talk about that experience and what that's like.
Um, I would say the experience is just it's like regular everyday life experience. I don't really go into a thing like it is. I'm a person of color, and I coach mainly females, at that. But I think there is this discrepancy sometimes where you don't see as many people of color coaching, or black and brown, or even Latino, or maybe even women and men coaching. Maybe at Division 1, 2, and 3 level, you see it, but I know the numbers are very low, and so forth. So I think it's great that I'm in the capacity in the role that people can see me, whether it's young boys or young girls, can see somebody who looks like them to say, hey, maybe they can strive and attain, you know, to be that one day, and say like, hey, if he can do it, then maybe I can do it. But I just go in and I give my student athletes the best experience that they can. I give them every day. When we get up for those 7 a.m. practices. We're up at 4:30 in the morning, commuting to go to have practice. It's for the love and for the joy of it, so that they get the best experience and the best opportunity while they're in college. But I think just having success, or you do your job to the utmost and to 100% of the time, that you can inspire others, no matter your skin color, no matter your race, your age, your gender, sexual orientation, and so forth. But there are some key figures, people that I have seen that have inspired me, to continue. It's like, hey, maybe I want to make that next step, continue to advance my career in the ranks of college coaching, like Katie Ann McAlpine, who's the current USC women's soccer head coach at Division 1. who won the national championship in 2016. So seeing someone like him, in that spotlight at a big Power Five school, at USC, has really motivated me, inspired me, and so forth like that. But also my time working in the South Bronx, um, with the youth up there, and I coach a U19 girls team, coach U11 boys, U13 boys. You know, it's consistency that students need to see and athletes need to see in anything, whether it's educational development, whether it's athletic development. They need to see consistency from the peers or the mentors and the teachers that are helping them every day. If they see you one week and then you're not there the next week, then it's sort of a disconnect. But the years that I've spent at these organizations and the time that we put in, and even now at John Jay, I feel like it's really helped to build that foundation so that when it comes in, I'm sure people are not even looking like, oh, this is a black coach, a white coach, whoever, Hispanic coach. It's like, hey, this is coach. You know what I mean? And I think that's the great thing about John Jay. It's so diverse, in itself, so many different walks of life. Um, that that's our greatest attribute is our diversity. I think
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of those New York schools are just like a mecca for all types of
definitely.
different people from different places. So it's a huge melting pot, and it's definitely important that you guys are there to, kind of relate to those kids and be able to make those good bonds and make good connections with them because they're going to remember that for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk a little bit about just D3 athletics as a whole and kind of what it means to you to be, a part of D3 athletics.
I think I have a big respect and fondness and appreciation for Division III athletics and what we do. Okay, I have some friends who coach at the D1 or D2 level, and when we talk sometimes and they talk about, like, oh, this is going on and so forth, I'm like, oh, that's D1 problems, like, because at D3 I don't feel like we complain, and it's probably across the board. A lot of D3 programs, we do the best with what we have. We're gonna give you a great experience. I feel like our women's program, we give our ladies the best experience that we can. We try to give them the most in gear, um, fundraise opportunities for trips, um, different academic and athletic opportunities that may come up. So we try to give them the best experience while they're here. But I believe that D3 is sort of like, you start at the bottom and then you rise your way up. I feel like that's a good place to start any form of coaching because it's not based off results, you know. It may be based off results in some places, but it's not like based off wins and losses. Like you have to guarantee, like you have to win this, you have to win the conference title. You know what I mean? But I think it's more about building the culture and developing the student athlete so that once they finish and that athletic career is over, you're preparing them for the real world. And we have this thing, and I feel like we've done a great job over the past 6 years to prepare our ladies, when they come in, and when they leave as young women, Um, so when they leave John Jay and they leave our program and they get out into the real world, they know what it's like. They have faced certain things while they're in school, so that once they get out there in the real world, they're not confused. They don't know what's going on. That's sort of like they get that guidance while they're here, and I feel like that's very important. That can be lost at a Division I or II level, at big institutions and so forth, because there are so many student athletes, so many programs. At John Jay, we have 215 student athletes. You know what I mean? So I feel like I have a good rapport with a lot of the student athletes. Um, you be walking through the hallway and people are like, "Hey, coach," and it's not specifically your student athletes that you coach, but I feel like it's a good family atmosphere at the D3 level all across the board. Um, and not to say that there's no such thing as the family atmosphere, those sort of situations at the other levels, but I appreciate it so much being at D3 because you know what it takes to dig in deep, and to make things run. So if some programs have one athletic trainer or two. Some people have seven. You know, um, you may have certain machines for recovery and for fitness to do certain things. Some programs may have more. You just find a way to make it work the best that you can. Use your environment, use your surroundings. It's sort of like with the variables. We tell our team that you can't control certain things. You can't control the weather, and you can't control people how they act. You have to control your variables and what you have to make the best out of it. I think D3 is a great place, and there's nothing wrong with it if you start there or if you want to make a career of being in D3. But I think across the board, D1, 2, and 3, the motto and the mission is for the student athletes.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely think that it's important that we kind of talk about how a community, how important of a community it is being a part of D3. You said that there's a lot of small schools and everybody's so close knit. I think that's something that a lot of D3 colleges may not get, especially being so large. I think it's important that you touched on that for sure. Um, you also talked about just being a D3 was a good way for you to kind of start from the bottom and move your way up to the ranks. So, kind of talk a little bit about what your, aspirations are for the future, and if that's, a place that you would like to stay at for a long time, or is it somewhere that you wanted to, move towards in the future?
I definitely think that it's the place right now because the opportunity is here. Um, Currently at John Jay. In 3 to 5 years, if opportunity comes, then definitely if it's the right time, I'll be willing to take it. But as of now, mm, can we restart that question?
Yeah, it was just, what are some of your aspirations for the future as to whether or not you wanted to, go off and do some other things in the future? What are some of your aspirations?
So some of my aspirations are to continue coaching, somewhere being a administrative role and so forth. I like the side of what I'm doing now because you get to see what it takes to run athletics department and all the things that go behind it. The budgeting all the time, the extra hours, the long meetings, um, the very finite details that have to go into making things run like athletics banquet, a Hall of Fame dinner, um, fundraising to get a brand new pool, renovated at a school and so forth. But I definitely want to continue coaching. Like soccer is definitely one of my first loves, um, and I think I'm good. I'm good at coaching. I have extreme passion for it. I dream soccer like 24/7. Right now, it's killing me that no soccer's going on,
Yeah, I know.
and Liverpool can't lift the title soon. But
Well, I don't know if we can make that much of an assumption yet. I don't know about that.
we'll
Let's
talk about that another time. But I definitely think I do want to stay coaching. I did hear that at the D1 level things are very specific, so you can't be in two roles, was whether you can be administrative personnel and then be a coach and so forth,
yeah.
because it is a lot of time, at that level. So that's an option or a choice, that I'll have to make when that time comes. But I definitely love the side of what I'm doing now, like the sports information side and writing stories and creating graphics. It makes me feel good, like when you can highlight and spotlight athletes, who get some shine. But that's a different thing at D3. You try to spotlight the athletes in a different way, and maybe at D1 it's more publicized, on a bigger scale. But doing at the D3 level, everyone gets an opportunity to be a star, and be in that spotlight. So that's something that's very special to me. But in a few years, I mean, I've always had the goal and the aspiration. I want to continue getting my coaching licenses and upgrade on that. And I definitely, being of Jamaican Chinese descent, I definitely want to go back to Jamaica and somehow, in some capacity, work with the Jamaican national women's team, and coach on that level and somehow, whether it's going to Olympics or qualifying for the World Cup, I definitely want to be in some aspect and contribute in that way. You know, um, just with my continuing soccer knowledge and things like that. So that's a goal, aspiration of mine where I want to end up, and I'm becoming a head coach. Right now I'm interim head coach. So definitely want to shout out Casey Summers. He's he's been with us. He's been with us for past 6 years, but she's moving on to Catholic University. It's a great program. She's going to be taking over. So right now I'm going to be stepping in to take over the team in that capacity um, as an interim head coach. But definitely I want to continue coaching in some form and being able to give back to these teen athletes and prepare them for the world, give them the best experience while playing soccer, and having fun at it.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely looking forward to seeing what you do in the future as far as soccer goes. Definitely. So, last question for you. What was one of the reasons that you chose D3 in particular? Why was D3 that your first choice?
Well, it was actually like the only choice, that I had at the time, and I just stayed. I stayed here. So back in 2014, it was a new experience, uh, coaching college soccer, So it was just at that time it was really building the program in 2014, and then in 2015 and 16, and around 2016 started to see the curve change with the players that we were bringing in and recruiting, and their level and experience at that time, and our retainment of our players were getting stronger and stronger. So I test that a lot to our dedication to coaching staff at the time as far as recruiting and bringing in quality athletes. But at the time, everything is good at John Jay and comfortable. So we saw something growing in the potential that we have there. So it was never like a thing like let's abandon ship, or move on to another opportunity and so forth. Um, but working alongside Casey, she has D1 experience, and that caliber of playing at D1 in Fordham University and and coaching there. So I definitely learned that aspect of what it takes to be D1 caliber quality type of coach. Just being able to work alongside her, um, and sort of her being like my mentor for these past few years. So I'm very grateful for that, to get that knowledge and that experience in that aspect. But yeah, it was the only option and the only choice um, at the time. So it wasn't like I had a mule of offers, coming in. But I enjoy it. I love it, and I think I wouldn't trade any of the past 6 years for anything. In the experience, I think it's been a wonderful 6 years at Division III, and I wouldn't have traded for anything.
Great, great. Um, well, we definitely appreciate you coming on. Thank you for joining us today. Good luck on the next season that you guys got. Hopefully, you guys can take home another title this year. We'll
Yeah,
hope.
definitely. That's the goal. No pressure. Back. Can I give a shout out?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely want to shout out. First I want to shout out Casey. Definitely good luck. Love you. Shout out the coaching staff, Agate, Danny. Definitely want to shout out the ladies. Um, Women's soccer, John Jay, big up yourself, and definitely want to shout out Dr. Bryant, definitely for making this happen. FAR, our faculty and athletic representative at John Jay. So definitely, and everybody at John Jay, definitely, it's a pleasure. I love working there. I love the environment and the atmosphere um, at the college. When we can get back there. So
Mhm.
definitely, I just want everybody to be strong and be safe during these times, and just everyone to know that we just have to be able to continue to support each other as a country and as a whole, even when we get past this, and just continue to live positive with each other and uplift each other all the time. Not just during these difficult times, but as a society in general, we should all just be positive and help each other continue as we are now.
No doubt, no doubt. We want to shout out to Johnny for coming on the show today. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah,
Um, Also, before we go, again, make sure you guys follow us on our Twitter and Instagram pages at D3Inside, our website, InsideD3.com. YouTube is Inside D3 Athletics, and you can find us on our podcast on Anchor, the Inside D3 Show. So, again, Ajani, thank you for joining us.
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This is episode 2 of the Inside D3 show. Again, I'm Morgan Cheatham, and we are signing off.
Okay.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to this another edition of the Inside D3 Mascot of the Week. I'm your host Sam Vibrock, and today I'm going to discuss another unique D3 mascot. Last week I spotlighted the LaSalle University Lasers. This week I'm going to stick back in back in the Midwest, and I'm going to do the Webster University Gorloks. Now, when you hear Gorloks, you think it's a gargoyle, but it's really not. The only other mascot that has a gargoyle is in D1, excuse me, and it was the Bradley University Braves, which their Braves were stripped of the Indians, so they came up with a mascot of a gargoyle. But today I'm going to spotlight the Webster Gorloks. The Gorlok is Webster University's mascot. It's a mystical creature designed in part by the Webster students and staff through a school contest. A Gorlok, actually defined by the university, is that the main part of the university is between the streets of Gore Street and Locke Street. But how it's portrayed at the university is it has paws of a speeding cheetah, the horns of a fierce buffalo, and the face of a dependable Saint Bernard. The myth of the Gorlok is that it embodies the highest standards of speed, agility, and stamina in an atmosphere of fairness and good conduct. And that's kind of the creed that the Webster University has lived by since the Gorlok has been their mascot. Now, that's what a Gorlok is. Thanks for joining me on this week's edition of the Inside D3 Mascot of the Week. I'm Sam Vibrock reporting for Inside D3.